and welcome back to Jules Math Tools. In our session today, we are converting a decimal number in the thousandths position into a proper fraction. And if you're ready, let's get started. We're going to convert our decimal number today into a proper fraction. And I usually recommend that when changing decimal numbers into fractions, a good place to start is to write it out in its word form. If you're familiar with how to change your decimal numbers into a fraction, then you may not need to write it out into word form. But for those of you who are just starting out, writing it out into word form will help you with being able to identify the parts of your fraction. So let's write our decimal number in word form. This number is 467, and the only thing I'm going to do different is write thousandths at the end. So I still wrote up my 467, and including the thousandths reminds me or lets the person know who's reading my number that I'm working with a decimal number. So that thousandths word is very important to be included at the end of your number. Now let's look at the parts of these words to see how we're going to change them into its fractional form. My 467 represents my numerator, and the thousandths represents my denominator. So as a fraction, this will be 467 in my numerator and 1000 in my denominator. So this would be our fraction for our decimal number. Let's try another example. Feel free at this point to pause the video, convert your decimal number into its fractional form, and then when you're ready, you can unpause the video and work along with me. Okay, so we're going to begin by first writing it out in its word form. In word form, this number is 391, and I'm including my thousandths at the end of my words to remind me that I am working with a decimal number. Again, your 391 represents my numerator and my thousandths represents my denominator. So as a fraction, this will be 391 in my numerator and 1000 in my denominator. So it's just that easy. Okay, so let's try our final example. And we're going to be converting this number into word form as well, which is 812 thousandths. Remembering that your 812 is your numerator, my thousandths is my denominator, and as a fraction, 812 in my numerator, 1000 in my denominator. And again, this fraction can be simplified. And we're going to divide both parts of our fraction by 4. And this fraction in its simplest form is 203 250th. I know that's a mouthful to take in. 203 250th is our fraction for our decimal number 812 thousandths in its simplest form. And remember to please practice simplifying your fractions. It may seem difficult at first, but you do get better with practice. That is the key. So make sure that you practice these numbers, develop your skills, and we'll see you right here in the next video on Jules Math Tools, where we make math easy.